Welcome back to our morning show on WRCO. We're talking about another timely topic. We're up to talk about Bev's Walk. Passages putting on this, and it's coming up next week, actually Tuesday, October 22nd will be when that's happening. And we're here with the president of the board for Passages, Chris Simonson, and also program manager Jessica Brown. I think we kind of alluded to this the last time you were on, Chris, but here we are.
We did. When Shannon and I were on together, a month and a half ago, we knew Bev's Walk was coming up, but we hadn't cemented a date yet, so we weren't quite sure when it was going to be. We had a couple dates in mind, but this has been set up now for a while. Yeah, it's coming up, as you said, a week from Tuesday, October 22nd, from 5 until 7:30, and it will be happening at the Crosscup Park here in town. Those of you familiar with the Kiwanis Lights, that festival that they do, the drive-through thing, it will be in the same area of the park.
So Bev's Walk, named after Bev Burns?
Named after Bev Burns. Bev was such an important part of Passages for so many years as an advocate for those in need, especially as a legal advocate, working with people when they had court dates, whether it was for a restraining order or whatever. Bev knew what was happening legally for them and would advocate for them and let them know, okay, here is what you are allowed to do under the law, and these are the type of things that we should be requesting of the judge and those sort of things. So Bev was more than an advocate to the people who were most in need, and she was just, again, as I say, such a significant part of Passages for over 20 years.
It'd be interesting to trace her legacy and the number of people that she helped over the years, wouldn't it?
It would be, because the numbers would be in the hundreds, I'm certain. Mm-hmm. If you were to include, the children that were impacted as well. But yeah, Bev was just a fantastic and dynamic force for those in greatest need at Passages.
I think this is important to get that out, but also get the word out about Passages once again, and keep that in the thoughts for people in the area, right, Chris?
I think you're right. It seemed, I think COVID affected so many different things within our community, and I think Passages is one of those programs that, again, was adversely affected as a result of some of the things from COVID. There were times when the shelter actually needed to close because all the workers had tested positive or were infected, and so we couldn't really serve them to the way they needed to be served. And it was to the point a while back where we would even hear people say in public, "Oh, Passages is still here," which is frightening. So that shows us that we have work to do in making sure that everybody in our communities is aware that this vital program still exists for those in need.
I think that's why this walk is going to be really important as you look at this, Jessica.
Yeah, it'd be absolutely important for us to get back in the community, let them know that we are still here, but also remembering Bev and what great work she did for our agency.
As Chris mentioned, I heard that rumor a few times, like, oh, Passages is closed or whatever, but that couldn't be further from the truth.
No, we are open and helping victims and survivors every day. We're here to support the community. We have great work going on right now in our Crawford County. We have an amazing advocate there. She is doing great work, and hopefully we are going to be picking back up in the other two counties that we serve.
So what is the area that is served by Passages in some of those outlying areas as well?
So we serve Richland, Crawford, and Vernon County. Those are the three counties that we serve.
Okay. And unfortunately, there is a need.
Yes, unfortunately, there is a need, and we're here to support. So.
And you've stayed pretty busy, it sounds like.
Yes, we are.
People are, this is a benefit, but can people donate year-round as far as monetary gifts and food and those kind of things?
Yep, we're always accepting donations. A lot of times, a lot of paper products is a big one for us, hygiene products. The holidays are getting ready to come up, so having those items available for kids as far as those Christmas gifts and things like that are important as well, so they have something for Christmas morning and things too.
How is the best way to do that, to drop off items at Passages?
Yes, so the best way to drop items off would be at our business office. It's located at 1001 Parkview Drive here in Richland County. It's the Ada James apartment place. That's where our business offices are. You can also give us a call if it's a large donation and you're not quite sure if we'll take it. You can give us a call at the business office, and then we can direct you where to take it.
I know there are a lot of sad stories, but I think there are a lot of real positive things that you've experienced during your time as director, correct?
Yep. Program manager.
Program manager.
Yep. Apologize. So always helping. It's great for us to have the apartment place that we have as well, so that people that come into our emergency shelter can typically transition into transitional housing, and then we're able to help them get back on their feet and be able to go be successful like they want to be.
How many apartments do you have there at the facility? Any idea?
18, I believe it is.
18. Wow. Okay. And then in terms of getting them back on their feet, you do some things. You take maybe the next stride to help them find a living place in the area then?
Yep. So after that, we're really trying to work on updating the program a little bit too with the apartments. Currently, so they have transitional housing with us 1 to 2 years. And typically after that, we'd like to try to help them move on to more permanent housing in the community, whether that's buying a home or different things like that. So we're really trying to help support them more to be able to move on to permanent housing after that transitional phase.
I'm guessing it's important to be writing grants. Do you do that continually as well?
I do not. Shannon, our director, she is the grant writer for us. It's actually grant season for her currently. So she is working hard on finding the right grants for us.
I was going to say that's a busy time trying to get that, because it's got to be important for your operational expenses, isn't it?
It is important. So we just did have some huge budget cuts through the VOCA grant funding. So with that, we are looking for additional grants and things to make sure that our program continues to where we want it to be.
Are there similar situations like Passages? You mentioned the counties that you serve, but around the state, are there some organizations that are similar to Passages?
Yes.
So each community has their own.
Typically, each community does, but after the VOCA funding, some organizations did have to close their doors and things like that due to budgeting. We were fortunate enough that we just took a significant loss, but we're hopeful that things will continue.
How long have you been with Passages?
A little over 2 years now.
Okay. So you came on post-COVID, but still, I'm guessing you were feeling some of the effects at that time as well.
Yep, I came on post-COVID, worked a year with Beverly, and then so some of the effects are the lack of volunteers that we currently have now. So always looking for volunteers, people that want to step in and help, whether it's helping transport clients or whether it's helping with donations and different things like that.
So if you're going to volunteer, it could be like just a few hours, or it could be...
Yep, it could be just a few hours. We are working on setting up kind of a volunteer training. A date for that is to come, so that they can come and get information on what it is to volunteer at Passages, and how you can support us. It's not always client relationships, it's sometimes just helping go through donations and helping with other small things that we need to.
Are you staffed 24/7 then?
Yes, we are at shelter.
So somebody always has to be there.
Somebody always has to be there. Yep, and somebody's always answering the crisis line as well. So.
Okay, and so volunteers are needed for that at nights and weekends and things like that as well.
We're working on that. Yep.
With the proper training. Once, as Jessica said, once we get the training, that sort of thing can be done. Yes, but volunteering can be. As she said, if we get somebody who has left, some clothes, just going through and washing and sorting and putting them away, it can be pulling weeds, it can be doing some painting of a fence outside, or any number of things. So, we have made the decision that we need to reach out to the community and take advantage of the people and the groups that want to volunteer their time, because there are a number of them that have reached out and said, hey, part of what X industry does is we need to volunteer in the community. And so we're looking for places. Would you be interested?
Does Passages team with other entities like for counseling and things like that as well, Chris?
They don't team with other organizations for counseling, but they certainly communicate back and forth as professionals, saying, "Hey, this is what's happening with us, and we're not sure if what we're doing is working to the extent that we would like it to. How do you handle this situation or this when it comes up?" So there's certainly those kind of relationships, just like when I was teaching, I would call, Randy Minen or Jeff Behrens or Mary Beth or something and say, "Hey, I'm doing this piece. It says do this. How have you done that in the past?" These professionals are doing the same thing with people in their area of expertise.
The key is to try and get people back on their feet, Jessica. And sadly, sometimes, an abuse situation, they'll go back to it. I mean, that's kind of the sad fact of life, isn't it?
Yeah, so that does happen. But also, too, it's our job as advocates to make sure that we have those safety plans in place, right? We're here for no judgment. We're here just to support you. And if that's your decision, it's kind of our job to make sure that we have that safety plan in place and that you have the resources that you need once you get back if you decide to leave again.
So if someone is at Passages or whatever, I mean, there's not an automatic restraining order, so to speak, right? Or how does that work?
No, typically, a lot of times once you get to the emergency shelter, we help you with that. A lot of times they want to do a restraining order right away. A lot of times we don't recommend that right away because you are in a safe location. And knowing that you're in a safe location, once you submit that restraining order, sometimes it kind of gives up your address and your location, right, and what county you are in, because we are serving a lot of people outside of Richland County that are coming from other counties.
Chris, did you have something that you wanted to add?
No, sorry, just arms are flailing.
And swatting a fly.
We've got a fly here that's wanting to be interviewed.
You're multitasking today.
Yes.
Well, that leads us toward Bev's Walk. And let's talk a little bit about the specifics of this. Maybe, Jessica, you could give us a little bit of the where and when.
Okay, yep. So Chris already mentioned it's going to be on October 22nd. We are going to have food vendors there. We will have Utter Brothers Creamery from Basketball area. They will be serving ice cream and cheese curds, from what I've been told. We'll have TKO Barbecue, and then we'll also have Monster Cookies from Christy Sunnyside. That was one of Bev's favorite cookies, favorite place for her to stop and have lunch during her work hours. So we're going to have those presented for everybody as well.
You're going to have various things going on. Music, live music as well. How cool is that?
Yeah, so we're going to have the Pink Whiskey Band. They're based out of Prairie du Chien. Our Crawford County advocate helped find this band in the area. They are donating their time for us to come play. And we'll also have face painting for the kids as well. I have a few ladies that have volunteered their time to come and do the face painting. So it'll be a great event.
How far is the walk then?
We're just doing the Rotary Light Pathway. So I'm not quite sure on the miles there.
Okay.
Yeah, just that loop. And added to that loop for the walk, those of you who have been there, you know that there's some things that were set up by the Brewer Library to put pages from books there, so you can read stories as you walk through that, and they would change them every so often. We have survivors' stories that are going to be placed along that walk for people to read.
That's awesome. So people can read that. We have the actual survivors there that night as well, Jessica?
So really just want to, kind of why we're on the radio today, is put the request out. If there's anybody that Bev has helped or that Passages has support, or if you're just a survivor and you'd like to share your story for that story walk, that you can email those to me, and then I can make sure they get shared in the post as well. We have a few already, but I need at least 20 stories to kind of fill the post. So those could be emailed to me at jessica@passagesrc.org, and the cutoff for that would be October 18th.
Okay. Then you're going to print those and post them? Is that how that works?
Yep, so then we'll print them, and then the library, they will put those in the Story Walk post, and then it'll be there for the day of the walk.
Oh, that's great. How long will they stay up there? Will it just be that for that time?
Yep,
during the
just
walk?
for that day. So I do want to give a thank you to the Brewer Library and to Stacy for helping support on this.
You'll have some guest speakers. Anybody that comes to mind that will be there talking that night?
We're working on that, still compiling those. Possibly some of Bev's family will speak. We're still kind of working on that. If not, then us as staff will be reading a few of the survivor stories as well.
Well, you got the opportunity to work with Bev. Any stories or anything that you think of when we bring her name up?
She was just always grateful. She was always grateful. Every morning she came in, always asked how she was, and she was always grateful.
Right.
So, yeah.
She said that even on the phone. She would call me and I'd always say, "How you doing?" And she'd be grateful, and
Yep.
and I've never forgotten about that. That's a word to live by, isn't it, Chris?
It really is. It really truly is. We should all be grateful for even the smallest things. Even in the darkest times, there's something for which we can be grateful. And Bev certainly personified that. Yeah.
Her memory lives on. Why do you get involved with Passages? Why are you volunteering and being the president of the board?
Well, Passages, my wife Heather worked at Passages shortly after we were married. She worked for Family Advocates for a brief amount of time, 6 or 8 months, and then a position opened up at Passages. And so obviously it was a shorter drive from Blue River to Richland Center as opposed to driving all the way to Platteville. And so she was involved in Passages, so I was able to learn firsthand just what a significant place it is and the importance of Passages. So that's always been a special place for me. Our brass quintet played there for a couple of fundraisers during the Christmas season from time to time. The church that I'm involved in, the churches I'm involved with, continue to make monetary donations, and we both Heather and I just feel it's such an important service for the people in need of our community. And when Cindy Rasmussen called and said, "Hey, we've got an opening on the board, would you be interested?" And first of all, I was incredibly humbled that she would ask me, and secondly, it's where can I sign up? Sure, I want to do what I can to help.
Is this one of the main fundraisers during the year?
For right now, but we are working on, again, COVID messed up a lot of things for a lot of people. We are in the process of planning a large social activity, much like what was done at the campus years ago when they would do their fall thing and have, fun raffles and auctions and a big meal and things like that. So our committee is working on re-establishing that, especially now with the financial needs that are in front of us. But that'll be one of the things to help get us out into the community and help us financially.
For this night, for Bev's Walk on the 22nd, then, will there be some places where people can donate at that time as well?
I am guessing so. If maybe something where you can drop in some pocket change, but certainly there will be business cards there if anyone would like to make a significant contribution. Here's the address to which you can mail things. But yes, certainly.
Indeed. And it's all free, right, Jessica, in terms of entering this and everything?
Yes, the event's all free. We did have a registration link up for T-shirts. It did end yesterday at midnight, just because they got to go through the processing and making those T-shirts. But we will have a few this year that will be available to purchase a T-shirt if you would like once you get to the table, probably limited sizes. But the event is free for the community. All donations will go to the Grateful Scholarship that we created in memory of Bev, which helps local high schoolers with a scholarship for college.
Oh, that is awesome. I did not know that you did that. So have you done that the last couple of years then?
So just last year was the first year that we submitted a scholarship, and we was able to give $500 to a student to help with their college goals. So every year we plan on to continue that through the Richland High School to be able to support students that may need the financial need.
The other thing that we want to emphasize is that Passages is not just a women's shelter, is it? You serve men as well.
We do. Yep.
That's another common fallacy that I've heard over the years, but you do.
Yep, we do serve men as well. We have actually had more men survivors that we've served in the last few years than typical. So in the community or in shelter, yes, there is a need for all genders to be served.
Well, we're grateful to have you in the area, and I use the word grateful again here. So anything else that either of you like to add about Bev's Walk?
I want to throw this out. I'm going to put Jessica on the spot here. She will be traveling to Missouri this weekend to speak at the Strong Enough Women's Conference. She was asked to present there, which I think speaks well of her and the work she's doing. Do you want to speak about that for just a little bit? I don't think that's unfair for you to tell the people just what you're doing.
Right, please do.
Okay, so I went to this conference 2 years back, and so it's a conference of empowering women and supporting them through their own goals of what they've survived and different things like that. So I was asked to speak this year, so I speak on Sunday. I get 30 minutes on the stage, and I get to tell who I am and my life story and what I've overcome. So there'll be 200 plus women there, so it's going to be good.
And you were nervous about coming on the morning show. You're going to be facing 200 people on Sunday.
It's okay. Yeah. You made it easy, though. Thank you.
You've done a great job. Anything you'd like to shed a light on in terms of your speech or your story?
Yeah, so actually, I will kind of share a little piece. I actually came through Passages 8 years ago myself. And now I'm on the other side of the table, and I'm able to support people in the community the way Passages supported me. So really just being able to speak my story on Sunday is going to be good to share. So
wow. And when you speak to somebody at Passages, you know what they're going through a lot, don't you?
Yep. Yes, I do. Yep. So I kind of know what they're going through. In our profession, we don't really typically share our story because it's not about us. But being able to be empathetic and all those things like that, I believe makes things great. So
you can truly relate.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks you guys for coming in today.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you.
We'll keep promoting Bev's Walk, Believing Every Victim, Tuesday, October 22nd, 5 until 7:30 at Kroska Park in Richland Center. We hope people will come out and about and enjoy that event here, one of the great ones in our community, and get more word out about Passages, a program for survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault right here in Richland Center.